Do you recall how to plot a point? If not, I will leave a link to this lesson in the description box below. But listen, a line consists of many points, and each one of these points is considered a solution for the line. Lines, lines, and more lines. Today we will be discussing how to graph these lines when given an equation. These lines are out of order. We need order on the plane. Mr. y equals mx plus b is a formula that will show us how to graph these lines. Lines can be graphed in one of three different directions. We have our diagonal lines, we have our flat horizontal lines, and then we have our vertical lines that stand up. There are four different types of slopes. We have our zero slope, no slope, our negative slope, and then we have a positive slope. To graph a line, you must, and I repeat, you must remember the slope-intercept formula. Y equals m times x plus b. Now, the m is the slope and it's always connected to the x. If I remove my slope, I now see my y-intercept. What is a y-intercept? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is where your line crosses the y-axis. That point in red is your y-intercept. Now this can be a positive number or it can be a negative number. It depends on your formula. Here we have a formula. Up top we have the slope-intercept formula, and down below we have removed m, and we have removed plus b, and we have placed in our slope and our y-intercept. Now we're going to talk about how do we graph them. Okay, let's take a look at this slope. Now this slope is negative. Many of you have heard rise over run. Well, guess what? If this slope is negative, we're not rising, okay? We're going to drop or we're going to go down. But we always run to the right. But the question I get so often is, where do I start? Take away the slope. When you take away the slope, you find your y-intercept. This is where you start. You take your y-intercept and you plot it on the coordinate plane. Plot it and leave it. Okay? Now, do you recall in a previous video what a crosshair is? Well, we talked about a bullseye. A bullseye was when you shot an arrow and you wanted to get directly in between that vertical and horizontal line. The coordinate plane has several crosshairs. They're all over the place. You see, there is one there, there is one there. They're all over this plane, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to use our slope to create more points. Your slope is like your GPS system, okay? So here we go. The first thing I see is negative, which tells me to go down. And then how many times am I going down? Well, what's on top? It says 2. So I'm going down 2 crosshairs, or 2 units, or 2 lines. They all mean the same thing, okay? Next, so let's do that first. Let's go down 2. 1, 2. Okay? I'm not finished until I run. And I always run in the right direction. Think about it. Running in the right direction. Yeah, you want to do that. You're running the wrong direction, you might run into a bear. Okay, so let's run right. And there I have my second point. Now guess what? I only need 2 points to create a line. So I can actually draw a line and connect. I can connect these 2 points with a line. But I'm not going to do that. Just so you can see, if I want a more accurate, precise line, I can actually do the same thing. Go down 2 and go over 3. Here I have a line. This, my friend, is how you graph y equals negative 2 over 3 minus 1. Okay? But I want to show you something. Sometimes you have to extend your line to get a very clear graph. Now this part is a bit advanced, so if you don't like what I'm about to tell you, that's okay. Just fast forward the video, okay? To extend my line, I go back to my y-intercept, okay? My y-intercept was negative 1, and from there, I do the opposite. I see negative 2 over 3. I went down 2 and to the right 3. Well, to extend it, I'm going to do the opposite. Okay? I'm going to go up 1, 2, and then to the left 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do it one more time so I can get a nice, clear, precise line. Up 1, 2, and over 3. Now I have a different line, and this one is a little bit more accurate than the last one. Okay, one more time. Let's graph y equals 2 over 3x plus 1. Once again, let's analyze our slope here. I can see there is no negative in front, so my slope is actually positive. So for my top, I am going to rise or go up 2. My bottom, I'm going to run right 3 crosshairs, okay? Remember, don't run the wrong way. You might run into a bear, okay? All right, so let's do this. But how? Once again, where do we start? I see my y-intercept. It's positive 1 this time. So I put my first point right there on positive 1. From there, I need direction. Once again, don't forget about the crosshairs. We need to use the crosshairs to move along our coordinate plane. Let's bring back our slope now. Up 2, and then to the right 3. Once again, I have 2 points. This is enough to graph a line. But the more points you have, the more precise your line is going to be. So let me do it one more time. Up 1, 2, to the right 1, 2, 3. And there's my line. Okay, here's that advanced part. I'm going to extend my line. And I'm going to do the opposite of positive 2 over 3. So what's the So what's the opposite of positive 2? It's negative 2. So instead of going up 2, I'm going to go down 2, okay? And then my 3, I'm going to do the opposite. Instead of running right, I'm going to run left. So I'm running directly into that bear this time. Oh my. Okay, let's do this. Let's extend this line. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I put a point there. I can do it one more time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, look at that line. It's more precise than this line here. When we graph, remember, our lines can be diagonal lines, they can be horizontal lines, or they can even be vertical lines. And each one of these lines means something. Okay? Our diagonal lines can be positive or negative. Our horizontal lines are like a flat line. They have zero slope whatsoever, but they exist. And our vertical line, hey, this is no slope. No slope exists here, period. Okay? Okay, let's analyze the lines that we have graphed. The line on the right, this line is positive. Well, I know this because if I look at my slope, I can see that it's a positive 2 over 3. But how can I determine that a line is positive just by looking at it? There are many ways that teachers teach this, but I like to tell students to look at the highest part of the line. If the line is high on the right side, so use your right hand and your left hand. If it's high on the right side, then it's a positive line. Let's think about reality. If you're doing something right, you're a positive person. You're being positive, okay? So if the line is high on the right, then yes, it is a positive line. Now let's look at the line on the left. Now the slope says negative 2 over 3. Well, let's take a look at this line. Okay, it's high on the left. So when I pick up my left hand, I can see that this slope is definitely high on the left. So this is a negative line. Okay. Now one thing I want you to understand is I can draw this line anywhere on the plane and it still remains positive if it's high on the right. So let me just show you that. So I'm going to try to draw a straight line here. So I drew a yellow line and I'm just drawing them different places in different quadrants. But when I take a look, it's still high on the right side. So these lines are all positive. Once again, let's take a look at the negative side, okay? So if I draw a line in different parts of the graph and I make them high on the left side, then guess what? These lines, no matter where I draw them, I can just draw them all in one quadrant. Doesn't really matter, okay? These lines are all negative because they are high on the left, okay? And when they're high on the left, that means that this line is falling, this line is decreasing, so it's negative. It's high on the right, that means this line is rising, this line is increasing, so it's positive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Down below, I have linked a PDF for practice. I want you to print it out and I want you to practice the problems. I am also linking a video that goes over each one of the problems. So once again, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. And once again, you can go to my website. There you will find a link for personalized tutoring. And if there's a particular subject that you would like for me to make a video on for you, don't hesitate to leave me a message. Until next time, people, stay safe and be blessed.